Welcome everybody from the Sparx Systems YouTube channel. My name's Scott. I'm joined today by Stephen. Welcome Stephen. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you, Scott.
Excellent. It's good to hear. I understand we're looking at some more strategic modeling today, but we're looking at flowcharts in particular. So would you be able to tell us how we can use flowcharts in Enterprise Architect?
I would be delighted to, Scott. Let's, as always, look at our perspective. So this sets the focus of what we're going to do. I've been working on some Kanban diagrams today, but let's change our focus to strategy. And in this case, we'll look at all strategy here. And what we'll have a look at here is the fact that there are a number of different strategic modeling options here. We've had a look at organization chart before, and we're going to have a look at a flow chart as well. So we go into our project browser and we check the node strategic models, and you can see here we've got an organization chart, a stakeholder workshop. So we're going to create another package in here using the toolbar icon here to go new package. We'll give it a name, and it's called Power Service Flowchart. So we'll select that package, and we'll select a diagram in here, and you'll see now that the tool has focused us on strategic modeling, and we can see here we've got balance scorecard, number of other things there, and one of them is the flow chart. So let's create that diagram, and it's the power service flow chart. So we're looking at a particular part of the system that we want to analyze. And Scott, the humble flow chart, which goes back many years, is still an incredibly useful and powerful analysis tool, both to record and to analyze what's happening in a system. You can see now that the toolbox has been displayed. We have the flowchart elements and connectors in a single toolbox page. The most appropriate way to start is to start with this begin here. So we're going to give that a name, and we'll call it the start service check. So this is about a service check on parts of the infrastructure. So we've put that one in there, and let's look at that. We can see that it's now displaying the start service check. I'm going to do something here now, Scott. I'm going to go into the properties window here, and if I bring that, it's popped up on another monitor. Let's go into that, and let's look at the elements, and let's use stereotype icons, show element stereotypes. Let's turn that off. That shows element stereotypes, and you can see now that that's hidden that detail. There are occasions when you would want to show that stereotype, but in this we want to keep it
it looks cleaner this way. Yeah,
simple model there. So let's have a look now. We can use the quick linker to go to an element, and flows to decision, define process. So we can use that quick linker, or we can drag it from the toolbox directly onto the diagram. So we'll do that for the moment. And this process we're going to call run system diagnostics, and spelled that correctly, diagnostics. And let's put that under there. And now we can connect those with the quick linker as well, flows to. So we start our flow chart, and we can now look at putting some other elements in. So one of the things that you might want to do here is put an input and output into this particular process. So we could drag that one on from the toolbox again here, and we could call this the service schedule. So this is telling us what time we need to do this particular operation. Again, we can connect those up with the flows to or flows from. So let's do that. So we can go through and put all of these elements onto the diagram and continue our work. So let's do that. Let's keep going with our model. We'll use the quick linker this time, and we'll put in check power system. So flows to, it's a type of process, and it's going to be check power system. So these are the various things that we're going to be doing. Now we come now to a point where we might want to make a decision. Again, we can put an input and output thing in. Let's do that. Let's put one over here, and let's call it power system report. So we're expecting that when this has been done, when this power check has been done, that we're going to get some information out. And so you can see now flows 2, and you can see that the direction of that is gone the other way. We're outputting the power system report. And that can be linked to all sorts of other things. That might be an online report. It might be something that's written in a language like JSON or XML as a report and viewed through some sophisticated, web-based reporting tool. And we could detail all of that and connect those things up to other parts of
I can see in the toolbox you've got connectors and a note link. What's a note link?
Right. Well, a note link, Scott, is something when we're putting a note in, we can put a note on the diagram to explain, something that's going on in the diagram that we want to draw particular attention to. So if we went down here to our common elements, you can see here that we could put a note on, and we could, say something like, this is available as an online service, something like that, and then we could link that up with the note link back up here in the main toolbox for the flowchart. So that's a useful thing to do on any diagram, and it's just adding information that might be useful to a modeler and explaining things that are going on in the diagrams. I could choose a color for that if I want to choose a sort of bright color, like it might be a thing, and I can also choose the appearance of that element as well. So there are lots of different options there, and we could look at this thing here, so we can make it into a pin or a sticky note or a paper clip, for example. So that's what the note link's about. And we need to now also continue on with this diagram. We might come to a decision point here now, so we can go flows 2, and we can say, decision there as well. So we can put that decision on, and the decision could be something like, is the power system normal? And we might have different things, different paths to follow depending upon the result of that decision. So Scott, what I'm going to get you to do is to perform some of your magic so that we can finish off this diagram, and then we can talk about it a little bit more when that's been completed.
So, performed our magic, and I can see the flowchart on screen with a nice diagram legend, a few decisions, a few external resources, and different activities. So perhaps you can explain what's going on with our flowchart here.
Yeah, Scott, I think the most obvious thing that's changed is the color scheme in some ways. I mean, we've obviously added some more elements, and we'll talk about those in a minute, but you can see that the colors are giving a very strong idea of the various types of elements that are part of this diagram. And as I said, the humble flowchart is often overlooked as a way of modeling things, because there are other types of diagrams that allow you to model process or activity-centric things, like the business process model and notation process diagram, or the UML activity diagram. But I find this a very useful, simple, straightforward diagram to be including for this type of thing, where we're just looking at a very simple process that's running diagnostics across a particular part of the system. So just to talk about the legend has dynamically changed the colors of things based on the type of element that's there. So if you look at this legend, the way it's working is we have a filter that's based on the element stereotype. And if you look in the properties window, Scott, as I change selected element in each diagram, you can see that this one has got a stereotype of flowchart underscore process. This one's got a flowchart underscore input output. And that's what's driving the legend. So when I look at the legend, you can see that the begin element, for example, there has got a stereotype value of FC_begin. We're just displaying the begin to make it simple. But this is a very powerful technique with any type of diagram, and you can apply a legend and have it automatically color the diagrams, making it much more obvious and intuitive to the audience. And the nice thing about it, Scott, is that I can put that legend up into a library, and no matter when I have any types of flowcharts, I can drag that same legend onto the diagram and have it automatically color the diagram. So quite powerful there. You can see in the toolbox the kind of things that we've got. We've got a begin element. We've got an end element there, so how the process begins and how it ends. And we've got processes and defined processes, inputs and outputs we've looked at, decisions we've looked at. And we've got this other one, which is a storage. So, something that's has stored some information, and either that's coming in as input into a particular process or output. And you can follow this through, quite simply. Follow the lines, come to a decision, answer the question, the power system's normal. If it's normal, then we bypass all of the other processes in there and we go to check the solar system. And again, if that's normal, we create the service report. So this is a relatively simple diagram, but you can see how you could build it up and include a number of other diagnostic checks in there. But the color brings it to life. It tells a simple story and is a very powerful thing. Now, the procedures that in here to check the battery, you could of course put notes in there describing exactly what that's about. You could also include a document, like a word processor document that would describe in detail how you go about that check. Or you can come down another level as well and say, what does the battery check involve? And I could create another flowchart diagram and connect down to that one as well. So lots of opportunities there to use this quite powerful but straightforward diagram type.
And because it's so simple, I'm assuming that it could be used for non-technical people and for business customers and for people that are just trying to, model what they do in their daily job in some meaningful way.
Yeah, that's right, Scott. While it's grouped up there with the strategy diagrams, I've deliberately shown an example, which is this run the system diagnostics or start the service check, to show that the flowchart could be used both at a strategic level and also in a business and technical level. So we could have had a different type of flowchart that talked about onboarding a new company that was using the urban parking meter system. And, that would have been a diagram similar in look to this, but the semantics and the meaning of it would have been different. And again, I could have used the flowchart legend to bring the diagrams to life and to show people the elements, the names of the elements that are involved in the flowchart.
I could just imagine this being used in HR scenarios and costing scenarios and strategic scenarios. So it's quite powerful what it provides to the end user. So
yeah, that's right.
Well, I'd like to thank our audience for watching today. Thanks once again, Stephen, for showing us how to use flowcharts in Enterprise Architect. I'd like to remind people to like, comment, and subscribe on the YouTube videos. We love getting your feedback and we love hearing from you. And once again, thanks, Stephen, so much for your time and your effort today. Learned a lot. It's been great. Thank you.
Always a pleasure, Scott.